What's up everyone? On today's video, we're covering the pros and cons of living in Brick, New Jersey. We're going to cover a couple different topics like the cost of living, location, commutability to work, just to name a few. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you want to be the first one to know what's going on in either Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. Coming in with the very first pro, and that's going to have to be the location of Brick. So as you can see from the photo popping up, Brick is located in the northern part of Ocean County, and it borders a few different towns like Point Pleasant, Toms River, and Howell, just to name a few. The beautiful part about Brick is where it's located, you can get to a couple different major cities where you more than likely might work as well. So the commutability is very good. The top two cities are going to be New York City and Philadelphia. The two major ways to get into New York City from Brick would have to be either driving yourself or taking the bus up. Driving yourself will probably, depending on which part of Brick, obviously there's a northern and southern part. So if you're in the northern part of Brick, you're probably looking at about like an hour and a half-ish to get into New York City. And then if you're in the southern part, maybe just add an extra like 15 minutes on top of that. But realistically, all you're gonna do is hop on the Garden State Parkway, which is a toll highway, and that's gonna take you all the way up to New York City, or depending on which exit, you might have to get off and cross over to the New Jersey Turnpike. It's roughly the same kind of road as Garden State Parkway, and it just depends on your exit. The other option would be taking the bus. This one's gonna be a little longer though, just because obviously one, you're using public transportation, so there's gonna be other stops on there, but also it's not direct. So you can go from Brick up to about Newark or Jersey City, but then from there you'll have to take the path into New York City. So more than likely, if it's a little easier, I would probably go with just driving yourself. When it comes to commuting to Philadelphia, the easiest way to do it is just going to be hopping on Route 195 and taking that out towards the Turnpike. You can go Route 70 into Philadelphia as well, so it's just going to depend on where, I guess, which part of Brick you live in and which is going to be easier to commute. More than likely though, I'd probably hop on the Garden State Parkway up to 195 and then all the way out to Philly. That'll take you roughly about an hour 15-ish, depending on which part of, again, which part of Brick you're in. If you're in the northern part, I'd say it's definitely about an hour 15. If you're in the southern part, maybe like more like an hour and a half. Another great thing to living in Brick, New Jersey is having 3 different airports available to you at all times. So you're gonna have Atlantic City, Newark, and Philadelphia. So with Atlantic City, that's going to be the closest one to Brick, probably about 45 minutes south. You just hop right on the Garden State Parkway and you're there. The only thing is Atlantic City is going to be the smallest of all 3, so your flight options might be a little bit limited. Then with Newark and Philadelphia, they're pretty much both between like an hour 15 away, but just having all 3 of them, if you're going on vacation, just gives you different options to flights, airlines, at different times. Very helpful when you're trying to plan on anything accordingly. The last thing I want to touch upon for the location of Brick is just the proximity to the Jersey Shore. So there's quite a few different beaches that you can get to by living in Brick. The most notable is probably going to be Point Pleasant. Say that's about like a 10-minute ride, depending on which part of Brick you're living in. You can also head down to Seaside. You can go down to Long Beach Island if you want to just, a little bit more privacy on that part. But you can also head up north into Monmouth County. You got Manasquan, that's not too far away. Belmar, Avon, Asbury, those kind of towns. Coming in at pro number 2, and that's going to be the cost of living for Brick. Now, typically, the cost of living is going to be a con for New Jersey, as we're one of the highest states or most expensive states to live in. And now, Brick is still above the U.S. national or median average for cost of living, but in relative to New Jersey, it is slightly cheaper. So when it comes to, let's just say buying a home, for instance, right? You go into Monmouth County, the median sales price for a home in Monmouth County for 2023 was $620,000. Brick was $425,000. So you're talking close to a $200,000 difference between purchasing a home in Brick versus a random town over in Monmouth County. On top of this, Ocean County taxes are going to be less than Monmouth County. So I'm just using Monmouth because it's just a neighboring town right over and sometimes a competitive area. But you'll get more bang for your buck living in Brick and Ocean County than you will in other areas in New Jersey. So if you still want to stick in New Jersey, this might be a great area to look forward to. Pro number 3 of living in Brick is going to be different amenities in the area. We're just going to start off with some shopping and dining options. So when it comes to shopping, as you can see from the photo popping up, you have plenty of different options living in Brick. The majority of them are going to be on Route 70, so that little kind of area that I just showed. You're going to have plenty of different stores when it comes to food stores, for instance. You got ShopRite, Aldi, Trader Joe's, that's a big one nowadays. Costco's over there as well. And then if you want more stores, you have Target, you can go over to Michael's. Pretty much everything's going to be in this plaza. If you somehow find something that's not in there, you can head over to the Ocean County Mall. That's going to be located in Toms River, which is the next town over. They have over 100 different specialty stores in there, from Macy's, Forever 21, and on and on. So you, within, I would say 10 to 15 minutes of pretty much anywhere in Brick, you have a lot of different shopping options. When it comes to restaurants, one of the big ones that you're definitely going to want to check out is Beacon 70. It's located on Route 70, and it's overlooking the marina, so you have a nice water view as well. It's a sports bar technically, but they do a couple different other events, so you'll have live music, bands. They'll do events for, let's just say, Thanksgiving Eve, New Year's, that kind of stuff. When it comes to their menu, it's a bar menu, but you have different menus for lunch, dinner. They do a brunch menu. You got appetizers, pretty much anything you're kind of craving that day. They do have a really good burger, so highly recommend checking them out. On top of that, you'll have different just chain restaurants in the area up and down Route 70 in Brick. So when I kind of showed you that picture of the shopping, you'll also have restaurants in there as well. If you want not as much of a chain one, but a nice breakfast spot, you can check out Me Mom's over there in the Brick Plaza. Highly recommend that. Get the French toast over there. Really, really good. The last menu I want to check in is in the Parks and Rec section, and that's the Brick Reservoir. It's an awesome 120-acre site located in pretty much the most northern part of Brick off of Herbertsville Road. And it was a pricey one, is to my knowledge at least still the most expensive project in Brick to date, and it comes in just a little bit over $19 million, so definitely not cheap by any means. They have a 1.6 mile track around the entire development, so if you want to get a run in, a walk, and just kind of enjoy the view and the scenery, it's a very nice place to be. They have a few designated fishing spots in the area, just make sure you bring your permit, and yeah, awesome site. Bring the kids, bring the family, definitely walk around. Con number one has to be the lack of public transportation in Brick. So Brick doesn't have a train station. It does have a bus, but taking that bus is going to be a very long time to get to where you really have to get to, and there's only so many stops so it's limited in a sense, I should say. And getting around Brick itself, you pretty much are going to have to need your own car to do so. The nearest train station is going to be in Point Pleasant, which is the next town over, but it's only going to stop in certain towns. So if you want to get throughout the towns, like let's say you get off of one of the train stops in Point Pleasant, right? And just to even get around Point Pleasant, you're going to have to then Uber somewhere, walk, bike, or something along those lines. So New Jersey in general, let's say Monmouth and Ocean County specifically is what we cover on this channel. It really doesn't do a great job of public transportation. You'll have certain bus stops and trains in areas, but getting around certain towns, it's very difficult to do. Highly recommend having your own car if you're going to be living in pretty much any of those areas, but definitely Brick too. Coming in at con number two is going to be the traffic congestion in Brick, New Jersey. So New Jersey in general is the most densely populated state in the US, meaning we have a lot of people in a smaller area. So you're already going to have that going against you. But on top of that, like I mentioned with the lack of public transportation, a lot of people are going to have their own vehicles. So this can make rush hour pretty difficult to deal with sometimes. So if you're looking to get to work and you're going to be traveling, let's just say on Route 70, which is one of the major highways in Brick, and a lot of people will use this in the morning. There are a lot of lights on there as well. So you have a lot of cars, some lights, you're getting stopped a little bit too often. You're going to run into a lot of traffic that way. And in general, be aware, especially during the short time. So from Memorial Day weekend up to Labor Day weekend in that summertime, Friday, Saturday, Sunday can definitely be heavily populated in the area. Jersey is a big tourist and destination town. So people trying to get to the beach from, let's just say, Point Pleasant, Seaside, those kind of towns, sometimes they'll have to cut through Brick as well. The third pro about living in Brick is going to be the storm vulnerability. So when it comes to New Jersey, we typically can get some pretty bad weather every now and then. So if you're not ready to experience all four seasons, highly recommend not living here then, especially so if you don't want to experience all four seasons on the same day. Sometimes you might wake up and it's freezing outside when you go to work. Then by noon, you're pretty much in shorts and a t-shirt at that point. So it don't make sense. We just deal with it. We live with it, but love New Jersey and having all four seasons personally. When it comes to storm vulnerability though, in Brick, you do have to be careful, especially if you buy a home on the eastern part of Brick. You have a lot of water in that area. So it's roughly about like 32 square miles made up of brick, and about 6 square miles, so like roughly 20% is going to be covered by water. So we do have a decent amount of water in the area. If we were to have another hurricane, just high rains, high winds, the kind of storm like that, just be aware if you're buying on the East Coast, you might be in a potential flood zone, or there could be some potential flooding in general. So when you're buying, just do your homework a little bit. Check the FEMA website. So if you are in a flood zone, you will have to get flood insurance. That is separate from your homeowner's policy. So there's a different policy that you'll have to get, and not every carrier in New Jersey will have it. So just give you a heads up on that part. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you gained a little bit of value about living in Brick and what it's like, the good and the bad. If you're looking to move to the Brick, New Jersey area, buying or selling, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is down below in the description and the comments. Whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. And if you're just looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out the 2 videos popping up here, and hopefully they help you out too. Have a great day.